Superman, Wonder Woman, Spider-Man, Thor, Black Cat. What do all these heroes have in common? They all have children who are destined to become more powerful than they are. Welcome back, Nerd Squad. It's me, Amanda. Today we're counting down the top 10 superhero children stronger than their parents. Which superhero kids are you hoping to see on this list? Number 10. Hyperman. Hyperman is the son of Superman and Wonder Woman who comes from the reality belonging to the Kingdom Come story and follow-up story, The Kingdom. In that story, little baby John Kent is taken by Gog. He ends up being rescued by two different versions of his parents and his godfather, Batman. In the end, the child goes off with his future self, the hero Hyperman, who also rules and guards over all of Hypertime. Hyperman raises the child, that is also technically him, on his own, continuing the circle and pretty much guaranteeing that John Kent will grow up to become Hyperman, a time-traveling, dimension-hopping, insanely powerful hero. And friends, before we move on to our next spot on this list, if you love what we do here at Top 10 Nerd, be sure to show us you love us by clicking that like button. Number 9. Scarlet Spider. Felicity Hardy is the hero Scarlet Spider in the MC2 reality of Earth 982. Of course, she is the daughter of Black Cat aka Felicia Hardy and Flash Thompson, Peter's childhood tormentor turned best friend. Felicia later leaves Flash and starts a relationship with her work colleague Diana, which puts strain on her relationship with her daughter. Scarlet Spider was trained by her mother, has a brilliant investigative mind, and uses gadgets in order to simulate spider-like abilities while acting as a hero. She's also a friend and ally of Spider-Girl Mayday Parker, the daughter of Peter Parker's Spider-Man and Mary Jane Watson in this reality. Number 8. Warhawk. Warhawk is the future son of Green Lantern John Stewart and Hawkgirl from the DCAU, the DC Animated Universe. He first appeared in the animated series Batman Beyond and was created by Paul Dini and Alan Burnett. Warhawk's real name is Rex Stewart, and he was actually named after one of John's friends from the military, Rex Mason, who would later go on to become the Element Man Metamorpho. Warhawk gets super strength from his mom and has an extremely strong set of armor, complete with wings as those he was actually not born with, so gotta make your own. Bring your own wings. BYOW. Number 7. Superman. Jonathan Kent is the natural-born son of Lois Lane and Clark Kent, aka Kal-El, aka Superman. He was born during the events that caused a reset of the universe when the New 52 came about. He and his family were relocated to the New 52 Prime Earth, even though they were originally from the New Earth continuity, meaning that for a while we actually had two Supermans on planet Earth, although one was operating in secret, that one being John's dad. Currently, we also have two Supermans on planet Earth right now, with John being one of them. John would become good friends with another super son, Damian Wayne, Batman's son. Damian and John initially did not get along at first, but would eventually find common ground and then become pretty much the best of friends. Of course, then John went off to space and grew up rapidly, returning to Earth and taking up the mantle of Superman himself. So now he's kind of a little bit older than Damian is. It's a weird spacey thing. John's powers are at a very similar scope and level, but as a human Kryptonian hybrid, he apparently does have the potential to become even more powerful than Clark. That's been stated in the comics. Even though you would think that his human half might make him weaker, it actually has the opposite effect. Number 6. Magni Thorson. Magni is the son of Thor. He hails from the alternate future reality of Earth 3515, which was erased from existence at the behest of kind of Magni himself in essence. Although he loved his son, the future Allfather Thor, who had Magni with his queen Amora, the Enchantress, ended up traveling back in time to actually warn his past self about everything that would come to pass should he rule over Midgard, which was what led him down this darker path in the first place, creating this alternate reality and along with it his son Magni, who ends up having to kind of like fight against his dad later to make him see sense. Thor of the present listened to the warning of his future self and heeded it, preventing this version of Magni from really ever existing. When he did exist though, Magni was considered to be similar to Thor in his abilities, but he was also believed to be even stronger physically than even Thor had been, being known as the God of Strength. Magni was also capable of wielding Mjolnir in his lifetime. Number 5. Tim Drake. Tim Drake is known for being probably one of the smartest children of Batman around. Although Tim had parents in the original continuity of New Earth, he was adopted by Bruce Wayne, so at least then and there he was considered an adoptive son. Now in the current continuity, his backstory hasn't become quite so tragic, and I I think his parents are still alive. While Tim might not be the best marksman or fighter of the Bat family bunch, he is definitely the most intelligent and best detective when it comes to living up to Batman's legacy. And in fact, it's even been implied that he is basically going to be, if he isn't already, like a better detective than Batman, which is pretty crazy. Number 4. Starbrand. Brandy Selby became the adopted goddaughter of Thor in issue number 32 of the 2018 Avengers series. He promised to take care of her after the Avengers, as he saw it, failed her mother, who ended up dying in childbirth. Thor especially felt bad as he had succumbed to being possessed by the Brood at the time, and really wasn't much help to the team when they came across the previous Starbrand, Suzanne, Brandy's mother, who went into labor. She gave birth to a healthy baby girl but did not survive the delivery. She passed on her Starbrand to her unnamed baby, who was then later named Brandy by the Avengers. The Avengers themselves took Brandy in and did their best to raise her as a group. Unfortunately, while Brandy has one of the greatest cosmic powers in the universe, bearing the mark of the Starbrand, she also experienced complications when using her powers, becoming aged every time she used them. In the end, she chose to use her powers one last time, sacrificing herself to save the multiverse in an effort to help the rest of her Avengers family and team. Number 3. Unknown Baby. Baby has no name. Probably May though. Probably May. This has been something that has always left me wondering in the comics, and which was recently kind of touched on in terms of the potential of their offspring. MJ and Peter have gotten pregnant a few times in the comics, but one of their children, who was born in the main continuity in Amazing Spider-Man issue 418, we never really got to know. The child was spirited away shortly after being born, and MJ was made to believe that they didn't survive. This was all revealed to be part of a plot conducted by Norman Osborn, of course, who sought to take the offspring. Why? For what purpose? Well, we never really found out about that. During Identity Crisis, there was a hint that May would return, but it would turn out to be Peter's Aunt May and not the daughter of Mary Jane and Peter, who was probably going to be named May. It's been stated in the comics before that Norman disposed of this offspring after having one of his employees, Allison Mongrain, take the child to Europe. However, more recently at the end of Nick Spencer's Spider-Man run, it was also implied that this child might be the key to defeating Mephisto, suggesting that Mephisto actually took MJ and Peter's marriage years before in an attempt to avoid defeat at the hands of their daughter. Number 2. Legion. Legion is the son of Professor Charles Xavier, who was born out of his brief but really intense romantic relationship with Gabrielle Haller. When Charles and Gabrielle broke things off, Charles left not knowing that she was pregnant. Gabrielle is where Legion gets his legal last name from, as his given name is David Haller. Legion is so powerful because while possessing severe dissociative identity disorder, he has more than 100, I believe possibly even more than 200 at this point, personas residing within him. Each persona has a number, and many of them actually have names, but most importantly, they each have their own specific power set that manifests whenever they take over Legion. Because of this, there's almost nothing that Legion can't do. He can manipulate matter and time. We've seen Legion time travel in the comics and completely warp reality as a result of his insanely powerful abilities. He also has some pretty powerful hair, which I'm happy to say he still rocks even in the current modern day comics. Number 1. Dream. Dream is definitely one of the most powerful children out there, and if you're wondering how Dream of the Endless is considered a child of a superheroes, let me explain. Daniel is the son of Lita and Hector. In the Sandman comics and in the DC universe, Hippolyta, or Lita as we sometimes refer to her, was the hero known as Fury, who was considered in a previous continuity to be the daughter of Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor, who Diana had after she settled down and somewhat retired. Had with Steve, obviously. Hector Hall himself was also a legacy hero here, the son of Hawkman and Hawkgirl. Hector was known by a few different names before his death, chiefly the Silver Scarab and, of course, the Sandman. He would later return and become known as Dr. Fate as well. Daniel, therefore, is descended of 2 superheroes. Because he was conceived in the dreaming, Lord Morpheus, the previous Dream, actually claimed baby Daniel, promising to one day return for him. This day came when it was time for Morpheus to basically die and for a new Dream to take his place. Enter Daniel, who became the new Dream and one of the most powerful beings in all of existence. That's about it. Until next time, you stay nerdy, YouTube.